A shooter at a St. Louis high school has left 2 dead, a teacher and a teenage girl, as well as 7 others injured.
Renowned Will and Grace actor Leslie Jordan killed in a car accident at the age of 67.
And an 8-year-old is in training to be one of the youngest people to climb the summit of El Capitan.
Broadcasting live from the University of North Texas, this is ntTV News at Noon.
Thanks for joining us on ntTV News at Noon. I'm Talea Munson.
And I'm Peter Rabel. Following yesterday's shooting at Central VPA High School, hundreds of St. Louis residents gathered for a candlelight vigil in Tower Grove Park last night. For CNN, Laura Barchowski spoke with a VPA high school student that was sheltering in the room the gunman forced his way into.
Always an eagle.
Alex Macias says it was a pretty average Monday morning until the assistant principal of Central Visual and Performing Arts High School came over the intercom with a signal they only hear during active shooter drills.
People thought I was being overly dramatic, and then we heard gunshots and everyone scattered to get on top of us.
Alex says her health teacher, Mrs. Jean Kushka, locked the door, but it wasn't enough.
So he was able to just shoot. He was able to shoot his way in.
That's when she says the shooter fired shots at the group of them.
He did shoot Miss Kushka. And I just closed my eyes. I didn't really want to see anything else. But then as I thought he was leaving, I opened my eyes to see him standing there making eye contact with me. And then after he made eye contact, he just left. And then everyone in the room but me and my friends started jumping out the windows. I debated it, but I was too scared that I might die that way or break a leg.
She wasn't alone. Brianna Love was in another classroom wondering if she was next.
We were all huddled in this corner, sobbing over each other, hugging each other, holding each other's hands, praying, hoping, not knowing what was going to happen, completely helpless. We couldn't do anything. I didn't have my phone on me. My phone was in my bag. I thought to myself, I was really going to die in that classroom without being able to text my mother that I love her.
Are you going to feel safe at school anymore?
I only believe I'll feel safe if they up the security measures. I feel like they definitely are going to need more security at the school if they want us to come back.
And as they come together after this tragedy at a vigil in Tower Grove Park, they demand change, but first they grieve.
Candles were lit in honor of the teacher and student that were lost yesterday.
With the midterm elections right around the corner, some North Texas school districts have campus security on the ballot. With school safety at the top of everyone's mind following the Uvalde school massacre, voters will have the option to approve school bond proposals regarding increased safety measures to these North Texas school campuses. District officials across North Texas are asking voters to approve funding for modern door locks, additional surveillance cameras, shatter-resistant window film, and other measures aimed at keeping students safer. These same officials revamped the proposal for this coming November election season, reducing the overall cost of the funding to about $100 million. The proposed upgrades have been under discussion for Uvalde, has put this issue into perspective for many school board officials.
Early voting has now begun for the midterm elections in 39 U.S. states. According to polling data from officials at Edison Research and Catalyst, about 7.3 million ballots have been cast. Florida leads with over 1 million votes, with California and Georgia following with more than 800,000 votes each. For Texas, early voting polling times and locations can be found on your city or county's website.
Across 5 U.S. states, Election Day has voting measures relating to slavery on the ballot. In the states of Alabama, Louisiana, Oregon, Tennessee, and Vermont, resolutions offer an opportunity for prison laborers to be paid. In those 5 states, current law bans involuntary servitude or slavery in all cases, excluding for those who have been convicted of a crime. In Louisiana, an inmate complained of only making 2 cents an hour to pick cotton or okra. Previous legislation in Nebraska now allows inmates to be paid up to $30 a week. And the states of Colorado and Utah passed slavery inmate bans in the past 4 years.
Looking ahead to future elections, Joe Biden's plans remain unclear. Joe Biden spoke in his home state at Delaware State University, where he reaffirmed his intention to run for office again, while insisting it is much too early to make an official decision to run for a second term. Biden, currently 79, is the oldest president in U.S. history, and Biden's presidency has been inundated with questions about his potential run in 2024. On Friday, however, Biden commented on his dedication to passing legislation and that it would be hard to walk away from his current work. For now, White House officials remain adamant that they expect Biden to finalize his decision after discussing it with his family over the winter holidays, and that a formal decision will likely be announced early in January.
It is that time of the year where, if you are anything like me, you would need to invest in a portable space heater.
Yeah, you were heating up the entire newsroom with that thing. It was almost 82 degrees in there. Our weatherman, Nick O'Galley, will give us an insight into what the current temperatures are.
That's right, y'all. The string of colder, more cool mornings has continued as a bunch of us woke up to around 48 degrees this morning, but it is 55 right now, and it'll continue to warm up as we get through the day with a high of 70. We're looking at on this Tuesday that we have here. Now it will feel more like 52 as we have that breeze of 16-mile-per-hour winds coming in as well to aid in that cooling effect. But we'll see. It's gonna be quite much cooler today. Tonight to follow that, we're looking at 48 degrees. It's gonna head back down to that low, but gonna be a little sticky at the same time. So look for it to be a little humid out there as well as cool and everything like that. 5-mile-per-hour winds and clear skies. So if you're looking to see some stars tonight is the night for that. Now tomorrow we're gonna look for more 73 and just a little slightly higher high, but nothing too crazy. We're gonna stay steady in that mid to low 70s area, with it coming down probably to the 60s and everything. It's gonna feel like 43 because of these winds right here that we have. It's gonna be sunny, so look for that. Catch up with me more on weather in just a minute when we look at full weather and such in just a minute later in the show. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Nick. Renowned actor and comedian Leslie Jordan has died at the age of 67. This story is coming up next.
And the month of October brings awareness to those who have suffered from domestic violence and breast cancer. After the break, we will share how a Survivors Gala in Louisville aimed to shed light on just that.
Imagine it's ice cream day at the office. And everyone from the day before voted for their favorite flavor. Everyone but you. You decided not to vote. The flavor they picked isn't the one that you wanted. But can you really complain? Shh! Now imagine that with an elected official.
Choose not to vote, choose not to be heard. Get registered today.
That was a really good movie.
Yeah, I really liked it.
Yeah, so we have to watch the next one before next class, right?
We do?
I think so, but it's not on Netflix and it's not on Hulu, so...
Man, I don't want to pay for that.
So what do we do?
You think there's a place we could go to get the movie?
I'm not sure, maybe?
Oh, there's a place to get the movie.
Oh?
Really?
Yeah, it's right here on campus. Come on, I'll show you.
So a man's been walking in the desert for days at a time. He finally comes across a bar and orders a Coke.
That's not funny.
Eh? Eh?
Welcome back to ntTV News at Noon.
Beloved actor and comedian Leslie Jordan, best known from the hit sitcom Will and Grace, has died at the age of 67. Jordan was behind the wheel of his BMW when he crashed into the side of a building. Law enforcement declared him dead at the scene. It was also noted that it was not immediately clear whether or not the actor had suffered from a medical emergency that caused him to lose control of the vehicle in the first place. By late Monday afternoon, the site of the crash was filled with flowers and handwritten notes on a makeshift memorial for the late comedian.
With fall comes flu season, but this year there are two other sicknesses to worry about. Of course, everyone is aware of COVID, but a new sickness is taking over pediatric hospitals. CNN's Bruce LaShawn has more.
The RSV was probably the scariest experience we've had as parents.
The Whelan Slayton family in southern Maryland has already been walloped, and little August has only been in daycare for 2 months.
His first week of daycare, he came home sick on Friday of week 1, and turned out he had RSV, which ended up becoming RSV and the flu, and also an ear infection. And, you know, it just sort of spreads like wildfire. And every other week, we're sort of wondering, how do people do this?
At Stafford High School in Virginia, 1,000 students, half the student body, fell ill with flu-like gastrointestinal symptoms. The school newspaper blamed a homecoming dance that had more than 1,200 students corralled in the lunchroom. Innova hospitals have activated their emergency operations plan because of the strain from a surge of patients. At MedStar Montgomery Medical Center, pediatrician Sophia Tafari says the 2 beds for children are already double booked.
We are concerned that many of these children have not seen a lot of the viruses that they would have seen in the last couple of years. So we are bracing ourselves for a difficult winter for sure.
Doctors warn that COVID, the flu, RSV, and other rhino and enteroviruses could all skyrocket in the next few months, creating a kind of triple whammy or triple-demic.
All 3 of these viruses are expected to go up as we get into the typical cold and flu season. The weather gets colder, people start moving inside.
Experts say the best way to keep hospitals from getting overwhelmed is to get vaccinated for the flu and for COVID. If not for yourself, for the most vulnerable among us, like the second baby Darcy Whelan Slayton is expecting.
And all I can think is, if it was so scary with the 18-month-old, you know, I'm really worried about the new baby getting sick.
As of right now, researchers are working on a vaccine for RSV, and it will be available in the next year.
The Pentagon is taking steps to make sure active service women have access to an abortion. After the overturning of Roe v. Wade, more than a dozen states have placed laws that prohibit women from getting an abortion. The efforts of the new measure outlined by Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin include keeping active service members' medical information private, as well as providing travel funds and support for service members who are unable to get an abortion in their own state. The new measure is also designed to protect military medical providers who perform an abortion from facing civil or criminal complaints. Since the overturn of Roe v. Wade, many troops have since feared the inability to receive an abortion, while the Pentagon is also concerned that these new measures may affect recruitment and retention rates.
Technically, this is the last week of October and spooky season is coming to an end. However, during this month, there are 2 important causes that are recognized annually: breast cancer awareness and domestic violence awareness. I personally have gotten more insight on both, and here is the story. October is the month in the year that is dedicated to honoring and serving domestic violence awareness and breast cancer awareness. During the month, there are events and opportunities held to donate and support the causes. Anyone is welcome to be an advocate.
Each and every year what I do is try to have a breast cancer event, but this year domestic violence rates has went up so high. So what I did was just collided both together, since I know that they're both celebrated in the month of October.
The 50 Shades of Purple and Pink Survivors Ball is one of the many events that is held as a formal celebration for fighters, survivors, and supporters.
I am a victor and not a victim, so this event means a lot because I'll be able to share my testimony in a way for people to understand that you are able to get out.
The event presented guest speakers who were able to share their stories as survivors.
Why are you allowing yourself to go through this hurt and pain and struggle and embarrassment?
There are a number of ways that you can get involved to support the two causes.
Find your local organization that supports the awareness and get involved, be a volunteer. I was an ambassador for Susan G. Komen for 5 years, and it was on a volunteer basis, and I learned so much.
Even though October is almost over, it is never too late to get educated on the two causes and offer support.
After more than 2 years of planning and construction, the city of Denton is on track to open a new homeless shelter off of Loop 288. The facility was formerly a nursing home, but has been renovated to hold 120 beds with overflow shelter for 200 more people during extreme weather conditions. The facility's development director, Alicia Barker, says she hopes the facility can restore dignity and confidence to those who stay at the shelter, where they can resume a normal life for themselves. The 6-acre facility will run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, serve warm meals, offer a garden space, as well as offer both physical health programs, including programs to combat addiction, and mental health programs for individual and group counseling. Baker hopes by offering essential health services, the shelter can relieve some of the pressure off of the local ERs for issues such as blood pressure and diabetes. The $15 million facility will not have a limit for how long individuals can stay, as long as they return by 5 p.m. each day in order to secure and hold a bed. It will also provide a mailroom, classrooms, a computer room, and job training, obtaining a GED or English as a second language classes. The shelter is located just off of Loop 288 and not far from Highway 380, with a sidewalk in front of the facility, with a Denton County Transportation Authority bus stop close by. But Baker points out that there are not currently sidewalks from the shelter to University Drive or off of Loop 288. Nonetheless, Baker is optimistic, saying this is definitely an upgrade for our folks. As of now, the shelter plans to open in December.
Well, are you sure it's not December yet? Because it sure does feel like it.
I'm going to be honest, I walked out of my apartment today and the weather was just so cold, I wanted to go right back inside. I didn't want to have to go and wait at the bus stop, but I made it. Here we are. And now we got Nick Ogele here to tell us what we're looking at for the rest of the week. Nick, what's the weather like?
That's right, it might be cooling down, but the sun is still shining. Out with the rain of yesterday and in with a little bit of sunshine. So pull out those sunglasses, at least for the next 2 days, where we do have full sun. And then we're gonna hit some rain again after that. So look out for that as you pull out your nice umbrellas and get underneath that. Nice, but I'll get to that in just a second. First, let's look at our full weather we have here. Looking out here in Denton, it's gonna be a nice 55 degrees. If that is nice to you, it's a little chilly to me, but I like it a little bit in the upper 70s. And if that's the case, I would move up to Austin, but we'll get to that in a second. That's in our later forecast. Fort Worth, it's gonna be 71. If you want higher temperatures, go down there. 57 in Graham, 56 in Decatur. And we also are looking at some 55 degrees, 54 in Paris and Bowie, respectively. Sherman, 56, and Sulphur Springs at 67, Dallas at 58. Now let's look across the state. Right. You see those temperatures in Austin. We have some temperature hikes as it goes up, shoots up to 77 in Austin, 72 in Abilene. Looking at 64 in Amarillo, coming back down to earth to us. Like I said, Denton is 55. El Paso, we're looking at 68. Oklahoma City, 67. And Shreveport, 58 out there in Louisiana. Let's take a look at our 7-day broadcast we have here. Now, as you can see, like I was talking about, 73 back-to-back days. That sun, that big peach in the sky is out, looking nice. Wear whatever you want. Have a picnic. It's going to be nice out. Friday, 59 degrees, cooling back down with lows of 48 and 45 on that next day. We're looking at 90% rain chances on Friday with a 30% chance on Saturday as well. So cancel your weekend plans if they are indeed outside. 70 on Sunday, 75 Monday, and 79 as we warm back up. Absolutely. So have a nice week, and we'll be back with more next week on your weather. Back to y'all at the desk.
Thanks, Nick. You are looking stylish, so I may want to be a weatherman for Halloween. And speaking of Halloween, it's just around the corner, and we have the best places in DFW to find the perfect Halloween costume for your night of trick-or-treating.
And an inspirational story of an 8-year-old aiming to be the youngest person to climb El Capitan. Stick with us.
Hi, I'm Kennedy, the president of Black Film Club, and what I love about BFC is the atmosphere and the members. The family feel that we have in our club is really genuine. What about you, Bree?
My name is Bree. I'm the vice president of Black Film Club, and what I love about Black Film Club is it's a small but close, like, little family. You know, I feel like a lot of times when you go to a PWI, it's hard to find like a Black community that share the same interests in you. So I'm very blessed and grateful to have, found my family.
What I would say I like about Black Film Club is obviously the environment that it sets for everybody. I love the officers. I've been rocking with basically all of them since day one, since freshman year. We all came in here at the same time, all got involved with Black Film Club at the same time. So it's been a nice community to grow with, and then seeing new members come, seeing them get interested, seeing how they like Black film, teaching them what we can teach them before we leave, and giving them the mantle to take over. It's a blessing.
Welcome back. I mentioned earlier in the show that spooky season is coming to an end, however, not soon enough. If you thought haunted houses were scary, then take another look at inflation, in which candy prices could not even escape this. The cost of candy has increased 13.1% in the past year, some brands significantly higher than others. This year, Halloween participation is expected to return to pre-pandemic levels, and Americans are deemed to spend at least $3.1 billion on Halloween candy due to the spike in prices. So a word of advice for any trick-or-treaters out there that are hoping to get a full bucket of candy, don't get your hopes up.
Well, Talea, if you're like me and trying to put together a very specific Halloween costume, you may be wanting to shop in person to find everything you're looking for. Dallas Costume Shop in Deep Ellum is one of the oldest costume stores in North Texas, where you can buy or rent period-inspired dresses and outfits. Dallas Vintage Shop has all the latest styles from the 1920s to the 1980s, with Western, steampunk, and ancient period costumes as well. Costume World on Inwood Road has a variety of genres, mascot costumes, as well as wigs and makeup, and many costumes are as much as half off right now. Norcosco Texas Costume is a theater supply outlet specializing in stage props, theater makeup, wigs, and costumes. And finally, Gratitude Vintage Clothing on Fairmount Street can rent year-round and has massive amounts of jewelry, hats, and shoes.
Or you can be just like me and just order what you're looking for on Amazon. Halloween is in 6 days, and one town in Houston has more than just Halloween to be scared of. A python is on the loose, and not just any pet python, a 15-foot long python. CNN's Bill Barajas has the story. Take a look.
It's very scary for anyone with cats, kittens, puppies, dogs, very small children. I don't think it probably could get wide enough to swallow a child, but the research I've done says it might try.
Clayton Lee believes the snake is possibly 12 to 15 feet long and slithering somewhere on the West Belltown Homes property.
There it is. Yeah, I had a man that has raised snakes, and especially pythons, take a good look at it and expand it, and he said he believes it's a Burmese python.
Lee was first given a heads up by a neighborhood board member.
She didn't know where it came from. She doesn't think it's from this property.
He's since posted it on Nextdoor to warn neighbors, one of them commenting, "Oh, good Lord, bring in all the small animals." Another writing, "Wow, not good for the dogs and kids in the neighborhood." Lee worries about his fish and 19-year-old cat Dylan. Property management says a wildlife removal company was called, but Lee says they weren't able to find the snake. Everyone on the property, according to Lee, is anxious to know where the snake might be.
I'd like to know the update on, as well as everybody else here, would like to know what is the update, what's going on with this.
The owners of the python have not come forward yet, but one thing is known, that this animal is not native to Texas. The municipal code of Houston states that it is illegal to own a snake that is longer than 8 feet.
This year, the Soul Train Awards will be premiering on November 27th at 7 p.m. on BET. Hosted by actor, comedian, and writer Dion Cole, the nominees are led by Beyonce and Mary J. Blige with 7 nominations each, followed by Ari Lennox with 6. Lizzo and Chris Brown are tied with 5, and many more. The awards will be filmed in Las Vegas on November 13th.
Peter, you sound like you have no idea what you're talking about.
I am going to be honest, I have no idea what any of that means, what any of that is, just like I have no idea about anything going on in the world of sports. Luckily, we have Omar Martinez for that. Omar, what's going on with sports?
All right, thank you, Peter. Well, the sports world is heating up, so stay after the break as I inform you about the latest update on Brittany Griner's appeal and get you caught up on the Fall Classic coming up.
At a time when misinformation is all too common on social media, we take great pride in bringing you the news that matters, that impacts your family, news you can trust. Local broadcast journalists bring you the facts, covering the stories breaking in our community and across the globe. Text TV to 52886 and let Congress know you depend on local journalism. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Yankees, what happened? Well, they wanted Houston and they got them. The Houston Astros are going back to the World Series after defeating the Yankees 6-5 on Sunday and cementing the series sweep. Astros are still undefeated in the postseason and are looking to become the first team in the wildcard era to completely sweep the playoffs. The only thing standing in the way is the Philadelphia Phillies, as they are also on fire, only losing 2 games so far this postseason. The Astros and Phillies will meet Friday night in Minute Maid Park. We're just a week from November, which means it's almost Christmas, which means it's about to be 2023, which obviously means that it's almost March Madness. But if you feel like that is still a long ways away, UNT Intramural Sports has some tournaments of their own. UNT and basketball tournaments, name a better duo. The Mean Greens battle for the bracket is starting up soon, and if you want to get into the basketball spirit, UNT's Intramural Sports has you covered. They held a free NBA 2K tournament at the Rec Center last week, featuring the game's latest installment, 2K23.
It's always a fun time. It's always a fun atmosphere. A couple people come out, you know, and they got a chance to win a shirt, intramural shirt, and then they got a chance to get a picture with the intramural championship belt that we got recently.
If you still want a picture with the belt, but 2K really isn't your thing, then Sean's got some good news for you.
There's other drop-in events during finals week that we do that are kind of similar to this. There's other tournaments that go on, like FIFA tournaments, Madden tournaments, you know, all kinds of stuff.
In order to participate in future tournaments, search up IM Leagues UNT on your browser and create an account. From there, participants can either sign up as a team or as a free agent. There are countless tournaments and activities to choose from, some of the most popular occurring during finals week, where students can de-stress by shooting free throws and competing in a Mario Kart circuit challenge.
If you just want to relax, de-stress a little bit, have some fun, intramural.
Breaking news this morning concerning WNBA star Brittany Griner. She will begin her 9-year prison sentence after Russian courts have denied Griner's appeal for a lighter sentence. Griner was convicted of drug possession back in February after arriving in Russia with 2 cartridges of cannabis oil. U.S. State Department says Griner is being wrongfully detained, and there is concern that she is being used as a political pawn as Russia continues to wage war against Ukraine. Officials are continuing to push to get Griner out of Russia with the potential prisoner swap.
An 8-year-old named Sam Adventure Baker, yes, you heard that right, this kid's middle name is Adventure, and boy is he living up to it. Sam Adventure is hoping to be the youngest person to climb the summit of El Capitan in Yosemite National Park. The summit is Yosemite's iconic vertical rock formation. The rock is 2.5 times taller than the Empire State Building, and Sam and his father started their journey up the summit just yesterday. Sam says he is most excited to eat lasagna while hanging from his hammock thousands of feet in the air. If you want to follow their adventure and their journey, visit samadventure.com. Thank you so much for joining us on ntTV News at Noon.
Join us again tomorrow here on North Texas Television.